Welcome back, and what's going on here? I look happy, don't I? That's not a 79 steering wheel, is it? But it's definitely a Toyota. Last minute, we have to find a new navvy for the upcoming Drive Till You Drop. And dramas, trying to find what weight oil to put in the new 1GD. We test out torches and cameras leading up to the Drive Till You Drop. The DJI versus the GoPro. There's a fair bit to get through this episode. Let's go. So what I'll do for the upcoming tow, we'll reset the total average. We'll tow the Jayco up to Central West 4-wheel drive park, check the numbers as we leave and compare it to the next time towing Bullet to see the extra ton, what the difference is in fuel. What we're also going to do, we're going to be testing out some torches. So the household's got together and we've all brought out our best torches. There's going to be a lot of night driving. We're going to have torches with cameras just to see how that potentially will work for the event. The other thing we're going to test too is the DJI filming in the dark. Shell bought me the DJI Action 4 video camera, so it's much more superior to the GoPro that we were using. And I also too love the feature it has when you upload. It doesn't matter how many batteries you change, how many SIM cards you put in and out. When you upload the clips, they come in order. It makes my life so much easier. With the two GoPros going and batteries changing and SIM cards changing, each time you take a SIM card in or out with the GoPros, you've got to set a date and time. So that keeps the order in the SIM card. Whereas with the DJI, don't need to. Another really interesting fact, we use the exact same SIM cards. I put one in the GoPro and one in the DJI, and I get an extra hour of footage with the DJI. I'm not sure why, but I do. Our journey west, we've begun it. Outside temperature, 29 degrees. We've got a few things to watch this trip too. We've got the new Mucar VO6 OBD reader reading the computer's vitals. So we've got to fine tune this a little bit for the next trip up. Next trip up, I'll have Bullet on the back, so we'll have bigger numbers. So I had Nicholas with the DJI filming with the stick over the top of the computer, and it looks like it wasn't able to focus on the numbers. So we'll get that sorted for next time. We'll have Shell in the passenger seat next time, so we'll be able to film the hills in particular rather than just have the camera over it the whole time. But what I did capture were the EGTs with the vehicle doing a burn. Now have a look how hot the sensor where the DPF is gets. I mean, that's crazy. 670 and you're melting the piston. The top of the mountain, there must be a Hyundai conference. Look at all these hotted up i30s all pulling in. Maybe they're doing a test to see who gets more wheel travel. Look at them all. They're all pulling into this information area at Glenbrook. They all overheated coming up the mountain. So we're almost there, and so far, safe numbers all the way. The ECU knows when to gear back. That drops the pyro because there's less lag. You know, in the grey 79, we put a lot of work into that motor. I had over 700 Newton meters, and yes, it had a lot of power. We had the pyro there on the A-pillar, but I could get it up to 620 easily. And then when I backed off, only for a few seconds it would drop down, but that's when I needed to go back a gear. So this off-the-shelf stock motor, producing the goods and producing them safely.
I thought you said it'd be good weather.
Wow, it's supposed to be hot. It's 30 degrees outside, but that cloud I spoke of, it's hit. So that's all right, Nicholas, because it didn't give us a chance to get to camp and unzip any windows.
I didn't think my rain jacket could handle hail.
Oh my goodness. How big is it going to get?
I
I didn't shut the back window. Back in camp, I reckon we got flooded here. Yeah, we're flooded. Look at that. Bit of water in here. That bit of rain's made it hotter. Coffee'd be nice though. Maroubra to Mudgee, 3 hours, 35 minutes. We've arrived. What a run. What else did we learn last time? I'll give you a clue. Kumo tyres.
don't not like these rocks.
They do not like these rocks. We must air them down properly. Now what have you done? A tyre?
Me? You drive it.
Now there's a few ways into camp. I didn't go this way last time because we had Bullet on the back. A much bigger, heavier, longer trailer. And yeah, we're not going to get the Jayco up through that either. So we'll have to turn around and take the chicken track. Pull up this.
Just.
Put the gun in. Yeah, you got it.
Give it some.
Huh?
Give it some.
So this is camp. We'll actually leave the Jayco here till the event. That would have freaked Mum out a bit. Hello, mate. Have you come all the way from Tasmania? And that 3.5 hour trip, pushing it with the van. Just under 18 litres per 100, towing the van. So I'm pretty happy with that. You can see the side angle we're on because he's on it as well. Hey, mate.
Danny.
You're on a bit of an angle there.
Yeah, I was going to say that might be a bit dicey for you coming across there.
Okay. What do you reckon, Nabby?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
A bit of a working bee was organised for this day. It was just to make sure that the tracks we wanted to use. And Wazza kindly donated his day and brought the Zook with him.
Yes.
It's too easy. So we're going over that as well. Left, wait, 3 lines, go back. Yep. Nice. Dropping. Oh, look at that. That is gold. Now, not everyone's going to do that as easy as Warren did. Now we've got to get this near stock 70 out of the gully. Well, it is stock apart from the bigger shoe. Now I noticed here too that whatever setting that DJI is on, or maybe it's a light thing, but my front headlights are not flickering. While it did a good job with constant forward momentum, it was clanging and banging underneath the diff center in the rear and the rear spring hangers, but it's a 70. It's Toyota tough.
Probably have to be as close to this tree. Yeah. Keep going, you might make it.
No.
Straighten it up, plenty of room. That's it, beautiful. Sweet.
Thanks for the spot, Wazza. So this visit, we got down to see the river and the beautiful camping areas on the bank here. The 3 of us had a swim. It was a really hot day. But for anyone that's into their four-wheel driving and camping in Central West Four-Wheel Drive Park, have a look at their website, their Facebook pages. There's a phone number there. Give them a call. You can pre-book this area. If you've got a big family or a big group of friends, this spot here would have to be what I think the best spot in the park. So what we're thinking, ladies and gents, this could be an 11 PM rendezvous and then straight to the mud. Now at the end of our drive, the plan is that we're going to all congregate around the travel ramp. Hopefully it's around the 5:30 AM, 6 AM, and then we can all ramp our vehicles and have a massive breakfast with plenty of coffee. So this here's the DJI and the old faithful GoPro. Same light too. It doesn't look as good through the camera. Now leading up to this climb, the number plate holder took a big hit. Now I'd already removed the number plate because I bent it when we first got here. But what happened is shorted out the park light fuse. So it took out the number plate light, the rear park lights and the daytime light. So first place I checked was the kick panel on the left here of the passenger side and then under the engine bay. So no fuse there that said tail on it. Somebody said check under the glove box. And I mean, why would I have? I was right here. It should say fuse here instead of underneath where your feet can see it. This drive till you drop that we're running, it's actually made for a YouTube series and social. So it's not a spectator friendly event, so to speak. We're going to be driving through the night. So we'll be choosing the DJI Action 4 over the GoPro for all the night time filming. It's done a remarkable job, and that's just with a couple of torches giving us the light. We're going to have a mud stage at night, we're going to have wombat holes, and we're going to have, it looks to be, to me, a mandatory winch spot at night. You got a little friend.
Yeah.
You let you pet him. This stage here, this looks to be a ripper. Driver and navigator work together however they want. And once at the end, get up this. Now I can't see anybody driving this. I potentially can see people falling backwards. I'm hoping that most of us choose to pull rope. Yeah, there's your view from the top. So that tree is going to be your friend. Here we see Bullet in amongst the big boulders. Now seeing a vehicle in and on the tracks, you really do get to see what we're in for. And this is going to be a rock crawler's dream and I cannot wait. 13 super cool cars driving 24 hours. So that's the last little working bee we'll get. We'll be back in 2 weeks to drive it all. What I'm also going to do, I'm not towing anything, which is going to feel weird. We'll check out the fuel consumption driving the 4 or so hours back from the 4-wheel drive park out at Central West. It's going to be interesting to see when we put the 3 ton on the back and we tow Bullet up to the event, what the numbers will be, how much more they'll be over the 2 ton. But one thing's for sure, Toyota would have had it set up that even at the maximum of 3.5 ton in tow, that they wouldn't be exceeding the numbers to do any damage to the motor. Just for the record, I'm actually going to be on a hat trick. So 2 visits here and had to drive twice in hail. Luckily enough, out of the 2 times, we had no damage. 2 new LC70s going to new homes. So we're almost home, 4 hours from Mudgee. And have a look at those numbers. 8.7 kilometers a litre. That's 11.5 litres per 100 for that trip home. And that was pushing it. Those of you that know the road from Mudgee home, it's very hilly and we were pushing. The other thing too, as we're talking, that light has just come on now. So we got up to Mudgee and back on that 1 tank. So obviously towing one way and not towing the other. So we've just done 600 kilometers. How funny is that it's just come on? That's 100 litres that we've used to get up there and back. Now I know I've got 30 litres left when that light first comes on. 8,000 Ks old, and I thought I'd do a bit of prep work in getting all my bits and pieces for the very first service. Should have been easy, right? So I called my Toyota rep. I asked for oil and filters for my vehicle with the VIN. Now there was a discrepancy in the weight of the oil. So in the workshop manual, it says 5W30, 10W30. I rang him back and I said, look, I don't think that's right. Now, he agreed with me, but because the workshop manual and the service data are saying 5W30 and 10W30, we were scratching our heads. 0W30 is used in the 1GDs, Fortuner, Hilux and Prado. So we dug and we probed. There is now an updated bit of information for the new LC70 to be using a C5 0W20. Now to me the 0 sounds fine. The W stands for winter, so the 0 is the protection that you get when it's cold. So when the motor's cold, and the 20 meaning the protection you're getting at running temperature and above. Now in North Queensland, if it was 40 degrees, I'd be wanting to run the 30. Toyota's recommended the C5 grade in the 0W20 for all these new LC70s. A little bit of research into the 1GDs in the Prado. If you have a look here, it's specifying the C5 0W20 as well. So this oil here, they didn't even have a Toyota. They had to order it. They've never bought it before. So I still haven't changed it because I'm still not sure. They might change their minds again. I've got 2,000 Ks now to keep doing the research on it. I believe also that there aren't that many in Australia that have done 10,000 Ks that have gone in for their first service. So if you're taking it in, I think you've got to be careful. And you've got to specify what oil you're going to want. I believe most service mobs are going to put in your 030. That's what it always was when you had the DPF in the older V8s. Even Shell's Fortuna's a 0W30. Full synthetic. So that's my little spiel about the engine oil. And here's a little bit of my side of the conversation that I was having with my Toyota rep. Yeah, I don't think that the manual's right. Because we don't do it at Toyota, I'm worried that if there is a recall, they might x-ray the oil and say, well, it's not what I said. You know what I mean? Like from a protect your bottom type scenario. I mean, that's the oil you're sending out. It's the same oil I use in the Fortuner anyway, so it's not going to go to waste. And I've still got like 4,000 Ks before I reach the 10, but I just wanted to clean it up like after this big trip. The oil is so black. It's just so weird. I've read posts where Toyota have X-rayed oil in vehicles. So I don't know how they can, you know, like, I don't know. I know that this should be the 0 because it's the DPF model, and I know when I went from the grey one to the white one, we had to change because the grey 79 was pre-DPF. But I know that it does have a lot more volume than the Hilux and Fortuner. It's got an extra half a litre. So I don't know if there is something in there where it needs the non-synthetic. I'm only on 6,000 Ks, so I don't need to do it legally for another 4. I'm just worried. Maybe can we hold off on the whole lot? I'm sure there's these new ones that have done 10,000 in the country and they've been serviced already. Part 1 of the mission has been accomplished. We got back up to Central West 4-wheel drive park and we took the Jayco up there. So part B of the mission is to A, get this thing out of the garage, and B, get it ready to potentially be running for over 24 hours. Now I've only allocated 15-20 minutes to see if it runs and get it out of the garage. I mean, what time we got? It looks like it hasn't moved in decades. So it's 9:30. So I've got to move all this stuff out of the way, get it started, get it out, and then put all the stuff back in. All right, the time's 20 past 10 and I got a little bit sidetracked. That's all I've taken out of the garage. Now the sidetrack reason. I needed to get the control box on the new winch, because if you remember for the Tassie trip, the winch from Bullet ended up in the front of the 79. So running out of time, that's all we've got time for on it today. Had to move just a few things out of the way to even see all 4 wheels. Now how's the battery? In okay condition. It probably should just kick over. Don't know what the third pedal's for down here on the far left. Been driving an auto too long. Oh, bit of a list there. I've been working with our sponsors Roadrunner for many years now. Here we are getting yet another one of their cool winches ready for a big workout. I really rate this low mount high speed winch. I had to reconfigure the lights just a little bit. Now the reason I've got them pointing down at the ground is half of our next drive is going to be at night. So for them not to be shining straight in Brian's eyes, plus there's going to be a lot of filming being done on this event. So I'll have them pointing down more like a forward-facing rock light, so to speak. Unfortunately, it's also time to get rid of this 30-odd-year-old UHF. I mean, look at it. It's been taped up, the wire that goes from the handset to the unit. What I'm going to replace it with, I rate this one. I use this in the 79. I had it in the white 79 too. And these are a good bargain to pick up when Supercheap has its sales. So the last sale Supercheap had, I bought this and it was to put in Shell's Fortuner. But potentially she could be moving that on for 300. So what I'll do for this event, this works, but it's difficult to hear. I do have an external speaker, but the car's so loud. The beauty with this one is the speaker is in the handset, so you can hold it up to your ear when people are talking. The footprint of the box is much smaller too. Not that that gets in the way. That was all thought about many moons back. That speaker fitted in there perfect once the handbrake became obsolete. A trip out to our main sponsors, Penrod Oils, for a trouble-free event. Liquid gold for Bullet, plus we got the kids, Moto Oil in there. Season starts in 2 weeks. Just when I thought I was going okay with a bit of time up my sleeve in case of any issues, I find this. So that's obviously leaking badly out of that axle seal. But I'm pretty sure I keep them in the glove box. That's not it. There we go. Genuine Toyota one. And yes, this housing, it didn't leak any oil until time we broke the CV there at Buff's Outback Adventures. He had a meet and greet at the ARB test track, and that's where I feel I scored it, because this is 2 seals later again, genuine ones. It keeps leaking, so we've obviously scored the housing where the seal sits. So what I'm going to try this time, I'll change the oil and I'm going to leave that. I'll make sure the bearings are good. We've ordered ourselves a pair of these heavy duty trail gear ones. Now we won't have them for the event. It was a really wet day out at Buff's meet and greet, and it was hard to imagine that there was even traction out there to break a CV. Now I'm sure all of you are thinking, what are we doing back here at Sydney City Toyota? So let me explain. They mustn't have taken the winch option. No winch in that one. Now that is art. So in case you hadn't guessed, yes, we're test driving the 300 series Land Cruiser. Fortuna's served us well. It's 5 years old now. Congratulations, my love. A GR Sport coming your way. Now I can't wait to do a walk around and an off-road test in this on what is Toyota's ultimate vehicle. Okay, so back to our upcoming event. I've had to find a last-minute replacement as Brian has something at home that he just can't get away for.
Whoa! There goes window!
Adam's still not 100% right. Now Jaden from the younger generation, he's spotted for me a few times now. Jaden wheels hard and he's very eager and keen. Loves the rock crawling.
He's a madman!
Welcome to the team, and don't stress, mate. You don't have to do anything until I muck it up, and then when I do muck it up, all you got to do is make it right. And the only difference being is you got to wear the BMX helmet with the comms. Now this is going to be a first of its kind in Australia. I know groups have gone out there and driven for 24 hours, been breakages on tracks, etc. But this is going to be a hand-picked series. So we're going to have 3 separate events, and then we're going to have a viewer's choice. They're going to pick the 13 cars out of a series of 3 to do a final at the end of the year. Hopefully we get the following on YouTube and socials, so you guys will be picking out of the 3 separate events on who you want in that final. Subscribe, ring the bell. This series is going to be nuts. Now that's all for this episode. Keep an eye out for the series coming.
And as always, thanks